I just walked by the store clerk. Just walked in to the store and was talking to him. This is last day or whatnot, and I just wanted to get rid of some trash and all that good stuff. So I was telling him that pretty much what I'm doing right now, and like letting him know that this is just this is my way of getting rid of substance for myself. And so this is my way of getting rid of everything. Of course, he had his hand out, so I'm like, no, it doesn't work that way. So I want to make sure that I clear myself of this substance, by the way, which is not necessarily bad. It's just how we use it. I personally have gotten to the point where I can use it in a way which was still productive, because I've also didn't start until 2 years ago, 2002, 2002. So 3 years ago, whatever, going on 3 years. So that's when I started. So also that gave my brain enough time to develop, which allowed me to not be so much into the days of things, not be so caught up in a lot of things. This also means that anytime I was around it didn't necessarily mean that I had to partake in it. That means that I was still able to be around people smoking marijuana or whatever and feel okay with that. I even got to the point where, because I knew my own personal restrictions about everything, I let that affect my personal business relationships on a holistic way, to not come forth because of my own issues. But now I know why I didn't want to move forward, because if I was putting myself out there to get this substance and be able to help people with it, I don't want to get high on my own supply. And if someone would have told me, no, you're getting too much, I probably would have got upset, because I was the one who's doing all the paperwork about everything and making it legal and this and that. So now I'm in a different place in my life, a different part of my journey, to be able to admit my own addiction in life. Sure, I've tried LSD at one point in my life. I tried mushrooms. I've had those things, so I've had my experience with those. I've also had access to those, but I'd never been called to partake in them again. I never did anything recreational, first of all, except at Burning Man, but that was a whole different story. That was like when I first went there, regardless of the fact. So I have come a long way within my own journey, and it's good to be able to do something for self instead of other people, because I have nothing to fear when dealing with this. I don't work for anyone, so this is for me. This is for my own well-being, to make sure that I am being in my highest of me, right? So what else is there? Yes, that just happened. Life is interesting. Life is interesting. But it's great because it also allowed me to break that mold of being able to perform out in the streets and do dances and spin poi and do all that stuff just by just having a tweak, just having like what's the word I'm looking for? Just having, a hit of a joint or a hit of, like a one hitter. That was enough to say, okay, now I have that freedom. But here's the kicker. Before this time, I was in the military for 13 years, so I didn't have to worry about any of that stuff. Now that I have my time being out, my little freedom, whatnot, what is so-called, whatever, I got to experience what it feels like. Even I get to see people around me. I know people can get things, whatever, but what is that going to, like, my me means so much to me that I'm not going to partake in any of those substances, because some things I never even like touch, and it doesn't even call my attention towards it, because I've seen how people are when they are on it. So I did have images and everything embedded into my head about certain things. That's why I ultimately went with marijuana, because it's something that's from the earth. And also the way I did it is also I had some other herbs in there, so therefore my potency was not as strong, because I had other herbs such as white sage, mullein. I put a little cedar, little Palo Santo in there, and what else? Oh, and lavender. So that way I'm getting more of the other natural plants to help assist in, my well-being. Mullein, if you are a tobacco smoker or any way to go, even if you look up mullein itself, mullein, M-U-L-L-E-N, it actually helps cleanse the lungs. So that's something to keep in mind when you want to when you're attempting to better yourself. And if you are going to partake in things, think of other ways to help assist in a way for your health, for the better, not for the worse. At one point I did do tobacco, so I had spliffs, but that just made me feel like shit, so therefore I stopped doing that. And it was easy. It's a different type of feeling, and I felt like it was something weird, and I didn't like the way it really ultimately made me feel. And that's when I was told about mullein, because that would have helped, that tobacco or whatever. However, I haven't did spliffs or had tobacco in my system in a while. Maybe like a few months, or since the summer, or so maybe 6 months or so, 6-7 months. And that was that. So now I'm on this is the new part of me, which is getting rid of the marijuana usage. I do know how it can help people. I know how it helped me, but it's not something that's long term. It's something that's for the moment for me. Each person is different. There is a such thing as an addiction, and so on and so forth. I even went out yesterday and just brought some things, because the other one I had was old and this and that and whatever. So I ended up buying some more, even though I kept telling myself, I'm not gonna buy anymore. But now it's real for me, because I actually, when I met this one guy, his name is Ryan, and it's every time I seen this guy through dance or he's always kept popping up in different places. And then he finally popped up at the house, and I was talking to him, and I'm like he was just laughing his ass off, and I'm dude, it's like, are you on anything? And he was like, no. He was like, no, right? But he said in his way. I can't repeat the way he said it because it's so lax. Like, it's ridiculous. But like, so he was saying like how he's not on anything, and how it was his natural being, right? And I sensed that from him. Like, once he said that, I know other people who's like that as well. But like, this was like the most characteristic guy I can think of in this moment that seemed as though he was on something when in reality he was on nothing at all. And that just fucking blew my mind. My mind was like if I had animation, my head would explode right now. So that's like one of the many factors that like just got me to say, whoa, I don't need this. Like, if this guy is this way, I need to hang around this guy more often, because like, I'm naturally a happy person already. I've got myself to that point in my life to be a happy person, and this guy is living the life that I see within myself. I see myself clean of everything and being able to function daily without any use of substance in my system. Sure, we already have a percentage in our system already, if you do your research. Melanated people have more than others. One thing I didn't like about the substance is when it's used repeatedly, it makes me personally, it comes out of my pores. And I don't like the smell. I don't like to give someone a hug and smell like marijuana when I haven't smoked. That doesn't make sense to me. That's something I also was asking people to give me feedback on. So this video is just the ultimate of what I've been doing for myself to get me to this point. You know, first time it was brought up with smell like marijuana, I said, okay, I listened to what that person said, but that wasn't enough to make me just stop. I had to like have more feedback. I need to like do research. I need to see how my attitude changes from the time that they said that, or the time that I'm on it, versus the time that I'm not. I didn't get the feedback that I was ultimately looking for, and that's fine. However, me just meeting this one person, Ryan, is like, he's an Asian guy with just long hair. I'm telling you, he looks like straight from from a kung fu movie, old school kung fu movie. It's badass. So like, but once I met this guy, it shifted me. It made me want to help me. It made me want to do more. It made me want to be better. It made me want to be that shining light that I am, as I was before I even started. People, when I used to go to festivals, I went to a festival one time and someone asked me, it said, how can you hang out with everyone when you don't take anything, when you're just clean? And I didn't understand at the moment. I'm like, well, I didn't know anything about anything at that moment. You know, so I was like a newbie pretty much when it comes down to it. And they were like, and I didn't have an answer for that, but I knew that, I was like, well, if I'm this way now, if I can connect with so many people, what would happen if I go to that level? What would happen if I move over and start to smoke? How much would I connect with these people? And then eventually, you know, a month later or something like that, at that time, 3 years ago, I ended up taking in marijuana, and then I actually felt the buzz and this and that. And I understand the concept. I understand how a person reacts. I understand the calmness. I understand the paranoia. Everyone has a different reaction. my reaction was different than someone next to me who, well, right now there's no one sitting next to me. That's what I like about this park. This park is awesome. I can just sit and just relax. And so this whole thing, it's like, so like I understand how a lot of things work when that particular substance. There are other substances which I don't know about, and I will not have an intimate knowledge of those substances because that's not part of my learning. That was never part of my system, my path on this plane. It was, so I've never been drawn to it. Anything else outside of the 3 that I listed, ayahuasca, that's a difference. However, I'm not even ready for that because I need to make sure that my system is clear before I travel and connect with that part of myself. And I also want to be done by shamans and actually do the holistic way of doing things, because that's what I'm called to do personally. So I know I had a calling for ayahuasca, but I know this moment right now from this day is not the day. This day is the day that I just get rid of like everything, get rid of my stash, get rid of the things that make me this other part of me, so I don't need to do it anymore. So therefore I am going to get rid of these substances. So I had to pay attention to what was going on in front of me. Like, communication is all around us. Like, if we don't hear the right things, then we might get offensive about something that's just happened in front of me. Exactly. It's like, yeah, and it's like, and we also within ourselves. I know me personally.
They look at me like I'm some creature because I'm a punk rocker, singer and a stripper.
Yeah.
But they look at me like I'm some piece of shit.
Right.
See that? It just did. It just happened.
But the thing that.
The 3 of them, they were just like, they know me all, but
Yeah.
they never stopped.
Yeah.
I could have gave them a pot.
Go ahead.
Singer.
Go ahead, sing the song. So what's your name, first of all?
My name is Spike. Alright, here we go. Come on.
Oh, yeah.
Come on. Right. Let me see.
Okay.
Alright, wait. So I think, and I don't care. All things are mine. On the bombshells, all things are known of mine. And I don't care. All things are mine. All things of you, won't brought you bless all night.
Thank you, Spike. Thank you, Spike, for helping make this video for me. Yeah, we're all doing it together. Spike is right.
Can I do the am I on right now?
What you gonna do?
Alright. Wait.
All right, man. You have a good one. So here's the thing. These are the people who's out here. Just because they're out here, not everyone is bad. Like, I heard the conversation. I didn't really hear everything, so I can't really say exactly what it said, but I know what he told me, and I know my own communication style is, I can project more. And that's one of my issues, is not being able to project the words I need to say. In his case, he was trying to get a cigarette from someone, but he wanted to buy it, but the other guy didn't hear what he was saying, so therefore he got his defense stance. And it's like, I can see these people out here, and I know that not everyone is on, I know everyone is on different levels, so I'm not going to assume that everyone's bad. That's just not the way I roll. But I do know you know, my own intuition. I wouldn't even let that guy touch my phone if I felt threatened by, you know, by the situation. He's off down there somewhere. So it's like, I can hold my own. I'm not worried about anything that's out here. I can walk these streets no matter what time of night and be fine. It's our own fear that gets us to where we go, to where we're going. You know, fear can help us in a sense, but then again, it can inhibit us from being our true us, the true person that we are. So, let's get to the end of this video. Man, I'm going off. And so the point of me coming out here was to show what's about to happen, which is me getting rid of this substance. So before I left the space, I filled this container with water, and what I'm going to do is, let me see if I can set this right here. Yep. All right. So what am I going to do with this? I'm going to open it up. And take off my gloves so it can be easier. Okay, what's in here? There's nothing in there, but I'm going to throw it away anyway. Nothing in there. Throw that away. See, this is just trash anyway, this one. Now I have this. It's like, it wasn't much in here, but I'm gonna go ahead and dump that in there. Close that up. I have these papers. I'm just gonna just rip those apart like that, because I don't want to litter. So I'm gonna rip those up. Then I'm going to just put the trash in here. That way I'm not just throwing it anywhere. So check this out. Okay, well, I got this too. The Altoid case. I'm gonna dump that in there. Then okay, so this right here. Okay, so ultimately, I would never do this, but I'm just gonna toss that into the sea. I do that for a reason, because this is the only thing that seems right to me at this point, because I don't want to put it in the trash, and I want to make sure that that part is gone, and I don't want to give in to anyone else, or to make sure, you know, this is my journey. Then I have 3 of these things. You know, I just bought these things yesterday. They're little grams, right? So these are brand new. So I'm going to dump that in there. That's 1, 2, and 3. So I have 3 of those in there. And you know, that's the funny part about it, is that, like, this would have lasted me a while, because I wasn't a heavy smoker. But that's fine. And then this thing right here, that's gonna go. So no more. Let's see. Got the empty case here. Now I do have to throw these away into the trash, so I'm gonna put these in the, well, it doesn't matter because they're empty, so I can put these in the trash. I'm fine with that. This thing here, okay, so I got this little case here. This is one that I bought. I didn't even use it, but I'm going to dismantle it and just like that way I can throw the trash away and not pollute the area around me. And then I have one that I actually rode, and now I'm going to just do the same thing with that. And I do care about my environment, therefore this is also going into the trash. So I'm gonna put that into this container with trash. Oh, this thing right here. So, you know what's funny about this thing? I bought this thing like earlier when I got to Portland, but I barely used it. But it's okay because that needs to be done, because that's something that's salvageable, and I don't want to. I'm releasing that energy from myself. So what do we have here? Concoction. So I don't know if you can see this concoction here. But what I'm going to do with this is put on a cap, make sure it's closed, shake it up. It's like so this is a real green smoothie. Oh. This is a real green smoothie. And I'm going to simply just see, now it's an empty smoothie. And this is how a person like me just quit publicly. And now I should dance in the park. Lord. Okay. Now, what you see is what you get. This is who I am. I'm no one else but me. If that is unaccepted, then oh well. My life is for me to be within my truth, and this is my truth. And thank you, John, for helping me see that part of myself that or not John. Why am I saying? I keep saying John. It's Ryan. Thank you, Ryan, for helping me see that part of myself, to see that I am a being of a higher nature. I can share love without being under any influence of anything, any substance whatsoever. I mean, it's like being a natural high. Is, you know, I actually come out to this park and I walk with the geese. I put my feet on the ground and take in that, take in the prana and just be. So this really is not hard for me whatsoever. And the reason why I'm doing it publicly, because I want to make sure that If someone sees differently, then to call me on my shit. That's the best way for me to do it, right? Call me on my shit. You can do that. This is Roshan Woods. Love yourself. Be free to be you. But make sure you do it responsibly. If you're not doing it responsibly, then who are you really being? You're being outside of yourself, possibly. But I can't say 100. I can't say for sure. Only you can say it for yourself of what's right for you.